Alright, day number 29. I realized the count was off by a day, so I need to fix that in the YouTube videos, but yeah. So, day 29, yesterday was day 28, the last day. So we've been on this vlogging thing for about a month now. Tomorrow will be 30 days. In terms of overall growth so far, I think I've seen a more consistent mind-muscle connection. Like my workouts have been consistently like reaching a certain level that I want, rather than being inconsistent in terms of pump or how I feel at the gym. Like it's not really it's not an assumption anymore. It's more so like I know what I'm doing, I know what I need to do to make it a good workout. I know what I need to go to sleep, I know when I need to wake up, all those things. I've gotten my rest days down now. Nutrition is still something of a work in progress. Eating the right number of meals, not eating too much sugar. That's all. I mean, I think we've gotten the meal count down, but in terms of macros, we could be doing better. I eat a fair bit of protein, but I could be doing better in the other aspects, of course, because protein isn't all you need to survive. Or not to survive. All you need to have good health, right? You need the rest of it too. You need your nutrition, you need your vitamins, you need your fibers, and a little bit of fats. Not too much, and you shouldn't have the wrong type of fats, but you need all that, or else your body's just gonna you shouldn't be doing too much of one thing. I see a lot of posts about protein everywhere, about like protein tacos, protein smoothies, protein brownies, blah blah blah, protein whatever. Like more often than not, you don't even need that much protein. For the common person, I think a gram per pound or 1.25 grams per pound is a good start, a great place to be. So for me, I'm looking at 218 grams per day to maintain muscle growth. Sometimes if I'm like, I've never actually done like a real bulk. You know, I've just been bulking for the better part of 10 years. I haven't done a real cut. So, and the cut is going well. I've been around the same weight for this month. So I guess cut hasn't actually been cutting, but that's okay. We've been making progress in other ways, and we're making our way towards it. You know, I intend on going to Costco this weekend and starting to meal prep more. I think that'll make things a little easier in terms of managing my nutrition from a day-to-day basis, making it a little more consistent, and so that I don't have to cook every day for what I need. Yeah, so we're on the right track. Today is chest day, and I got a call at 9:30, so I gotta go to the bathroom and then head on out of here. Anyways, it's good to see y'all again. See y'all at the gym. Alright, so we started with some warm-up, went pretty well. I'm on the bike. You guys know how I warm up for 3 miles on the bike. I moved the bike up to, so I've been progressing. I started at like level 10 at the beginning of the year, maybe a little early, maybe level 12. But I've moved it up to level 18, and I've brought my time consistently down to 8 minutes and like 20 seconds now to get through all 3 miles on the bike, which it's just something I keep track of on improvements, I guess. but slowly increasing the endurance or the strength on the bike has helped me with my knee strength a little bit. I feel like it's a really good warm up to get the knees ready for any movements afterwards. And yeah, after that, I did my stretching and jump rope, and I moved on to rear delt flies. I'm keeping these with the cables rather than the rear delt fly machine. I'm enjoying how this feels. Um, the movement is getting better and better every day. I noticed that on my left side, I'm not able to do as like hold it as much as I am on my right side. So I gotta improve on that. But all in all, a good movement to start with. Um, I don't know if I've already explained why I do these before I start chest, but essentially, what it does is it helps give you a good solid platform to push off of when your rear delts, when your traps are not activated, and you try to bench. You're basically benching on a sponge rather than on like a solid platform, if that makes sense. So getting that blood flow into your traps helps you into your rear delts, and your traps helps you provide a solid platform for when you're pushing. Um, the Smith machines were occupied this morning, so I tried use this machine because I didn't have a lot of time. Um, does the same thing. I started with one plate to get the movement down first before I moved on to a heavier weight range. I did like 7 sets of these. They actually move pretty well. It's just, it doesn't give you the full, like, the weight isn't like an authentic movement in terms of how you would move in a bench motion, but, it gets the job done. A good chest pump. So I did these for a number of reps to get that contraction. As you can see, I'm squeezing it. I know it's only a plate, and it's not heavy. Like, it's not heavy at all, right? Anybody can sit down and knock out 50, 60 reps of these if they wanted to. But the point of this is to get that contraction, the feeling down before I move on to the heavier weights. And that's why I'm holding it like that. Anyways, I moved up to 2.5 plates, so that's 45, 45, and then 25 on each side. We're looking at what, 115, 230 on each side, or 230 pounds total, which that's about what I'm doing on the Smith machine as well. I'm doing this for same thing, 6 reps, and then I drop down to the second weight, which is 2 plates, so 90 pounds on each side, and then I drop it down to a plate on each side. I think I'm going for 6 reps on each side, trying to go for a little more on the lower weights, just because this movement isn't as taxing on the muscle group because I'm not putting as much strain on my shoulders. It's more focused on the chest, and there's no like leg drive being used for this at all. It's just your upper body, so you can do a little more, or it makes you feel like you can do a little more weight on the machine. But don't get fooled. If you're not doing it right, these machines don't do shit for you, right? Like if you're not moving based on focusing on that contraction, and you're just moving the weight, that's all you're doing. You're moving the weight. You're not getting any actual contraction in your muscle fibers. You're not getting any breakdown. You're leaving a lot of muscle gain on the table for what you're doing, and there's really no point in doing this machine if you're going to do that. It would be a better idea to go and do dumbbell bench press, because if you're just looking to toss weight around, that you'll see the maximum output of from in the case that you want to move heavy weight. Free weights, Smith machine, all that stuff. There is really no point in pushing like tossing 3 plates on this or 4 plates on this and moving 1 or 2 reps. That's not, that's called ego lifting. That's what that is. Yeah. Anyways, so this is the last set I do. I think it's the 7th set, and I as you can see, I oriented the plates a little weird so I can do my drop set a little better. Of course, going from 230 to 180, it's on the seventh set, it's a little more taxing, right? So instead of trying to sacrifice form to move the weight around, I reoriented the weights in order to be able to go from 230 to what's that, plate 25. So we're talking 70 on each side, 140. So about close to a 100-pound drop from the top weight. And I push, I think, I really don't keep the rep count in my head anymore. I'm just going until I feel exhaustion, full exhaustion in the muscles. And that by full exhaustion, I'm talking about when I'm contracting the muscle group and pushing, and I'm not able to move the weight to the full, like, there's a couple where you'll see, like, at the start here, I have full range of motion, but as I get closer and closer to my last rep, the range of motion deflates, or it's not as much. I'm not moving the weight as far as it can be moved. So, yeah, I got 4 reps. Looks like, I don't know. And then I drop it down to a plate again and do that weight. So that's just 45 on each side, 90. What's that? Another 40-pound drop. So, or 50-pound drop, actually. Sorry. It's too late to be doing math. Yeah. I did this for another 12, I don't know how many reps. But yeah, 7 sets of that. Honestly, a good pump on that machine. All in all, it could have been better, but for the sake of time, and I don't like waiting for a machine to be over. By the time I'm done, by the time that machine is actually available, the work I did on the rear delts is gonna have cooled down, so I'm gonna have to re-warm up again, and that's just inefficient. There's not always gonna be a machine available that you gotta do, so you gotta bite that bullet and you gotta try something new, or use another machine that does the same thing. Maybe it won't give you the exact same result, and that's okay. You're not gonna get the same result day in and day out. As long as you're working towards a bigger goal, that's really all that matters. Or not even working towards a bigger goal, as long as you're putting in the work, right? 1% a day, that's really all that matters. From there, I moved on to chest flies. I always finish up with chest flies, as you guys know. I start with contracting at the top and stretching out and coming back in. I was already pretty taxed from the earlier machine, because that is more of an upper chest machine, and because of that, my upper chest here is pretty taxed already. So the center line of my chest is already pretty taxed. So I'm not generating as much squeeze at the top here. My focus is to get the stretch, the rest of the chest engaged, which I wasn't doing on the machine beforehand, right? So I did 2 sets of these with a drop set each time. I'm not doing anything heavy. I think I started at 130, dropped it down to 85, and yeah, so 130. I don't know how many reps that was, but keeping it within like probably 10 to 14 rep range. On this second set, on this drop set, I'm trying to maintain that stretch or the contraction the whole way out. This is probably 85 pounds, 70 pounds. So it's not exactly a lot of weight. I'm doing this just to get that extra little bit of muscle breakdown. All in all, a pretty decent start to the split this week. I'm really looking forward to back day tomorrow. Hopefully the machines I want are available, but even if they aren't, I have a little more time on my hands as it's a Saturday. I intentionally started the split this way so that I can have Saturdays and Sundays for my back and leg days, because those, in my opinion, need the most work, and they are the biggest parts of your musculature, right? Your legs and your back take up almost all of your musculature. Your chest and your core is your chest is, I don't know how to quantify it, but
it ultimately doesn't really do much in terms of adding to capability, right? Chest is kind of just there for show. How often are you pushing? And on the other side, you have your back, which is supporting your skeletal, your CNS, also supports your hips, and then your legs, which also supports your hips. Your legs carry you everywhere. Your arms and your chest and your core. And I'm not saying they're secondary, but they just take up less. They do less. They have less motor functions. I guess you have your hands and arms, but uh, that conversation is for another day. You get the point. Chest and your back and your legs should always take a little more priority, in my opinion, than your chest. Um, while, like, let's say you're on steroids, chest is a pretty, I'm not going to say it's a genetics game, but there's a predisposition to how your chest is going to grow. Meanwhile, your back and your legs, on the other hand, can grow the way you want it to. It's just based on how you move it. So yeah, that may all have been false. None of this is science backed. It's just from experience. Anyways, I finished up with this, and it was a pretty good day. All in all, looking forward to tomorrow. I'm tired. I'll see you all tomorrow.